for this, and it was indeed LeBay. He lose the side position.
Well,
Quite
didn't hit anything.
No. Whereas you can go all out typically in 1 and 2 because of the banking. Is he going to save it?
No. Oh. You were just talking about it, Vince. The turn 1 and 2, they can run through there wide open. He was the fastest truck to that point of the track during this qualifying effort, this point of the racetrack, and then just put a valiant effort into saving that thing, but just into the outside wall. What a disappointment for that team.
Well, a heartbreaker there for Myatt Snyder. They'll have to pull out the backup, and it's really been a nice run the last month for Snyder. 3 straight top 10s. He's the Rookie of the Year points leader and is threatening for a playoff spot, but getting out of hand in practice or in qualifying, and that's the result.
You mentioned it, Vince. Not a lot of time to get a backup truck ready for this team.
Myatt Snyder, they'll have to pull out the button. It's really nice run the last month for Snyder. 3 straight top 10s. He's the Rookie of the Year points leader and is threatening for a playoff in the 83. And is going around the outside of him. John Hunter Nemechek inside, maybe a little bit of contact there, and Matthews just couldn't gather it up.
Yeah, and I don't think that had anything to do with the race.
Work it out. Eccleston's up on the outside, but had a nice run off turn 2. But in the back, I think it's just a situation where Matthews just didn't know John Hunter was on the bottom.
Chose fuel only, and it's going to help his driver, Ben Rhodes, win one. He'll never forget. Rhodes wins at home in Kentucky. And just like that, Ben Rhodes clinches the spot in the playoffs.
Out there on 1 lap and getting it all done. So,
Trouble for Christopher Bell, yep.
Let it go, let it go, let it go. Break it.
Off of turn
right
4.
up lane.
and Kyle Busch was out there almost completing his lap. You can see just trying to carry a little too much speed, got up in that grade that we talked about, and then did the right thing from that point in time. You know, if you lock it down right there, he's going to back that car into the safer barrier on the outside. You can see just that car wiggled right in the center, just carrying too much speed.
Gas it up, gas it up, gas it up.
That's not good for the engine, but it's not that bad. It's a lot better than backing it into the wall. So nice job once he got in this position.
On board with Kyle Busch.
Oh, he's in the track here, off the floor, spinning.
You can hear him shut the engine.
Sideways is Majeski into the wall. He got up into the gray, slid sideways, and caught the wall.
You see John Hunter Nemechek, that red and white 42, doesn't make contact. Just, there were 3 wide. Majeski out there in that slippery part of the racetrack has the air pulled off of him on top of that, and it just loses the car. That's one of the dangers, Steve, of using a strategy to put a car in the front of the pack that's not necessarily as fast as some other cars they're racing against.
Yeah, Jeff, it's a great idea, right? The 60 was running 16th before he took 2 right side tires, which gained him all that track position. But that is a tough spot to put a 23-year-old race car driver on a very treacherous racetrack.
And sure enough, the caution will come out.
78 of Blake Jones spins out. No damage. Blake's going to carry on.
Coming out with 78. May have had a little help there.
And 90 of Josh Williams. And 78 of Blake Jones made contact.
Doesn't take much. Cars are already on the very edge. Very close. Oh, man. No contact there.
Good, no damage.
Alex getting through there pretty good.
And now Christopher Bell. Oh, right behind him. John Hunter Nemechek in the 42. He clipped Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones slides into the inside wall.
Be ready, guys. I forgot the front, but we're rolling.
John Hunter Nemechek in the 42 saw him getting loose.
So definitely knocked out.
Well, you guys.
Nemechek once again,
Jones
just like the last restart.
Jones is real tight on it.
He is, and he's off the bottom and up the racetrack. I don't know, did Nemechek make contact? Did he get in the wall? Let's see. I don't think the 19's too close to him, though. The 42's
Right there.
up the track.
I mean, when they get that close, it takes all the side force off the 42. And they almost get door to door. shuts off that side force to the 42.
Clear low, clear low. Check it up top, spin it, stay high. Clear low, outside.
See, there's a contact. Now they're up the racetrack, out of the groove. You see Austin Cindric with a really good job behind John Hunter Nemechek, not to make that wreck any worse than it was. And look at this, spinning in front of the entire field, and nobody hit him. This is where the damage is. Boom! That's a big impact.
Had an up and down night, but thought he'd have a great
spinner.
And around goes to 60.
Kyle Majeski in the grass.
We saw Majeski have some issues. Got up into the light gray. Put him into the wall earlier.
To us, come to the left, come to the left, come to the left, come to the left.
Slides into the grass. The spotter's letting him know. Go right to pit road. In front of Kyle Busch.
Oh. Yeah, that's just, he had so much damage on the car from that incident earlier, and just trying to get all you can, never quit.
Bale at the racetrack.
You're all jacked up behind you.
Christopher Bale was chasing his car at the track when
Keep coming up past.
he jumped onto the roof cam there. But just trying to stay out of the way here. Ty's trying to stay out of the way, and he's real low out of the rubber that the tire dragons laid down. And Parker Klingerman tells us that in the gray, it's like ice, and obviously must have jumped up there.
Behind you.
Christopher, his car,
Keep coming up past.
he jumped onto the roof cam there. But just trying to stay out of the way here. Ty's trying to stay out of the way, and he's real low out of the rubber that the tire dragons.
Oh, obviously some contact with somebody else.
Matt Tiff on the inside just gets loose underneath Elliott. And just a lot of, it's tough on that inside to have the grip you need and the side force you need. And Elliott trying to race hard on the outside groove. There's grip out there to do that.
All clear.
See all that dust flying out from underneath the car, and that's what happened. So right here, he's got the car under control, but now he's in that dust, and it's just no slowing it down. There's no grip outside of that dark black part of the racetrack.
Elliott trying to race hard on the outside groove. There's grip out there to do that.
All clear.
See all that dust flying out from underneath the car, and that's what happened. So right here, he's got the car intact. That's what caused Gase to go around and get into the wall.
And with all that damage, Joey Gase went back into the garage.
Gase, a little bit of a underfunded team, that damaging race cars only sets them further back.
Of Kyle Busch. Fight for adversity. Christopher Bell started at the back of the field because he spun in qualifying earlier today. He goes on the spin and win at Kentucky.
Oh yeah, thank you guys. Dude, that is so awesome. So proud of you, man. You worked your guts out from the back to the front. That's the way you want to win them, man. Fun to watch. Great job all weekend, guys. Good job on pit road.
To the real contenders, we're going to see if he's 88's in the fence, guys.
Caution comes out.
The right sides are both down. Coming to you now.
Alex Bowman in the 88. Right front, tons of damage.
On the back straightaway, following Denny Hamlin off in the turn 3, blows the right front tire, has the right front tire go down. And remember, this is one of those cars that took only 2 tires at the pit stop. He did. Yeah, he did. He did have only 2 tires on that last pit stop, and probably was fighting a real tight situation, using a ton of brake, or more brake than usual, and blew the bead out on the right front tire with the heat through the wheel coming from the brake caliper.
J.J. Yaley in the 23 brings out just the 4th caution of the night, and in the wall and stopped up against that wall right in turn 4.
See tons of smoke out of the back of that car. What do you think, Steve? Some sort of an engine problem?
Yeah, I mean, the smoke has to come from either tire or fluid. I don't see any tires down or rubbing a fender, so looks like some sort of fluid.
And jockeying for positions all over the racetrack now. And look at what time it is. Steve, we saw this yesterday. The sprinklers just automatically come on. It must be around 10 o'clock. Maybe we should look at Denny Hamlin's.
Yeah.
If we look at Denny Hamlin's dash, we'll know exactly what time it is.
Maybe that's That's why he had the time on there. He knew 10 o'clock the sprinklers were coming on.
Points so important in advancing from round to round to round in the playoffs. And of course, one driver's going to get to the championship round on points. More points going to Martin Truex Jr. as he wins in Kentucky.
Oh yeah, Martin, way to be picture. Great night, guys, great night.